Welcome, everybody, to episode 14 of the AI Advantage Show. We're your hosts, Colin Episcopo and Kim Reynolds. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about if you're an e-commerce business owner or marketer in the e-commerce space, we're going to tell you why it's super important to bet big on AI in 2024. And to tell us why, Kim, who do we have?
Well, today we have John Lawson, and I'm really excited. He is an award-winning entrepreneur and a best-selling author. And because of his entrepreneurial spirit, it's helped him achieve a level of success that really few obtain. After consulting Fortune 100 companies at Accenture, he took his expertise to the world of small business. And today he's mentoring entrepreneurs and small business owners on topics like social commerce, online marketing tactics, e-commerce strategies, and more recently, integrating AI into your marketing strategies for e-commerce success. So we're super psyched to talk to him today.
Yeah, super stoked to talk to him. I'm sure he'll be back in a second. Before we talk to John, I do want to share with you guys about the AI Prompt Exchange. Now, if you haven't been to the AI Prompt Exchange yet, this is where you can go to get 2,000 field-tested marketing prompts, marketing strategies. They're free to use forever, and it's constantly growing because we have new people coming on there, adding their prompts that they know work. We had somebody a couple weeks ago who was adding all their prompts, and it's really great. So you can give a prompt, you can take a prompt if you've used some marketing prompts that you know have worked, but that is free to use. You can just go to the AIpromptexchange.com and get any prompts you need. And I know, Kim, you've got some free tools too that people can also use, right?
Yes, we've got the AI Tools Hub, and that's a searchable database of AI tools that you can use. Just basically search for your application or your need, and it'll pop up a tool recommendation.
Very cool. And he's back, and we're back.
Yeah,
surely that won't happen again, right, John?
No, it should never happen again. You know, it's funny. It's my browser crashed.
Oh no. Okay. All right.
Just
sorry.
the browser
I was
crashed.
trying to put some airplane jokes in there because I saw your airplane picture in the back, and I was like, that's just so cool. I had to ask about it. So
yeah. My spouse is a big fan, and I gave that to him for Christmas one year.
Oh, that's so cool.
Found it on eBay.
Oh, that's cool. What a cool gift.
Yep. Big fan.
Awesome. Cool.
Can quote every line. Don't watch
it. It's a great movie. It's
a
great movie.
I refuse to watch it with him.
So thank you so much for being here. So we have some e-commerce clients. We're really interested in e-commerce. We're going to be leaning more into leveraging AI for e-commerce. So what's the deal? Like, what is the low-hanging fruit there for business owners?
I mean, you know what? The low-hanging fruit with AI just in general is content generation. All right. So that's low-hanging. I was thinking about this earlier this week. It's like, if that's all you're doing with AI, you're already, years behind, even though it's only been out for a year. But hey, if you want to get started, it's a great place to generate some content, blog posts, product titles, lead gen kind of things like quizzes, all that kind of stuff. It's great for that. That is the low-hanging fruit for sure.
Very cool. Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Well, how do you see AI impacting e-commerce right now, like in the end of 23?
I mean, at the end of 23, here's the thing. I think for us in AI, and I'll give you a little bit of background for me. Back in 2015, so that's been a minute, right? 2015, IBM called up some of their influencers in different categories. So they had, people that were in retail, they had people in product development kind of stuff, and then they had, I was the e-com guy. So they had called me in and they said, we want to share with you what we're doing in the space of artificial intelligence. And this is right after IBM had put the guy on, put Watson on TV to do Jeopardy. Everybody remembers that, right? But we didn't really capture what was going on with AI until a year ago when ChatGPT was released. However, in the e-commerce space, we've been dabbling with AI forever because that's how we get our metrics. If you're using Google Analytics, that's AI, right? If you got a Shopify store and on the back end, they give you analytics and they make suggestions. That's artificial intelligence. So we've been dabbling with artificial intelligence as a back end for years. So now what has happened is ChatGPT gave us a front end that would allow us to communicate with natural language with the back end. And that's what you got to really start thinking about where we are today. So what I think we're going to see, like at the end of this year, we've created a lot of content. We've done a lot of cool things. Hey, you might have made some images. Yeah, that's kind of cool. But we have to realize that we are in a time now where exponential growth is happening. And so anything I say today in 3 months will probably be old news. That's where we are. And that's how you've got to try to keep up with what's going on, because AI is giving e-commerce people an advantage. And the faster you get in and the more you dig deep, the more advantage you're going to get. So I think small businesses, especially, this is a great leveler for us. And I'm excited about all the opportunity that AI is bringing, the ability for us to do things that enterprise level could do for years, because they had the big computers, they had the ability to have these departments of coders that could pull out all of this stuff from the numbers. And now we have that at our fingertips. So,
Yeah.
I hope I'm not going too far in the future.
No, it's good. It's good to look ahead. I mean, well, and we did a little bit kind of like of a look back too, right? And there was, I think, Watson, that was 2011, because Watson was on Jeopardy, and then another big one was OpenAI, I think was 2014 or something, and then in 2015, that's when it won the Go tournament, and that was a big thing, big change for a lot of people, because they're like, AI can't do Go, AI can't learn this game and beat humans and beat the pros. And then it beat, the guy. And even he's like, this thing is good at Go. This thing outplayed me. So I think now we're getting to a level where people are understanding the power of it. So we know it's important. We know things are moving fast. And hey, this is a leveler for small businesses.
Right.
That's news. So what are your suggestions into like, hey, if I'm a business, like, what do I do? Okay, it's kind of new for me. Where do I get started? How can I use this?
Okay, if you're brand new to it, I'm going to give you the shortcut. Get you a ChatGPT, account. It doesn't have to be the paid account. Start with the 3.5. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to just start talking to it. Say, hey, I've got this business. I sell this product. And I don't care if it's a hard good, soft good, I don't care what it is. Anybody, if you got a business, this is what you do. You just start talking to it. Tell it a little bit about your business, a little bit about what the outcome is that you want for your business, and what are your challenges and struggles. And then say, hey, what do you think? And that's it. And start the conversation there. I think too many people have, they want to be AI experts, right? And there's really no experts in AI. There really isn't, because every day AI, even the people that are building it, get surprised by what it does. And then when it does something, they can't tell you why it does it. None of them can tell you why ChatGPT does what it does the way it does. They can't tell you why it does it. All they can tell you is if we build it X amount big, then all of a sudden it has new capabilities. And so my point is, when you have people that are telling you, hey, I'm an expert and this is what you should do, nobody's an expert. But I'm going to give you some expert advice. Just talk to it like it's a human. That's really what it was built to do. It really was. It was built for that. So that's what you do. And oftentimes you will get responses out of it that will just blow your mind. So sometimes, so what happens is we have this limited, like you said, we didn't think it could do this. For it to do Go, come on, it's never going to do that, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it will surprise you. But if you come in with this box, inside this box of here's what it can do, here's what it can't, you'll never see or discover the most amazing things you can do with it. And I don't, I liken, especially ChatGPT, I liken that to playing with Legos, right? Now, Legos are just a little square block that connects to the other square block. And with that square block, if I'm teaching my child the first time, how to play with Legos, I might take a couple of blocks together and show them that's a staircase. Boom, that's a staircase. But those same bricks can make the, Millennium Falcon. Mm-hmm. It's the same concept. But if you just come, so I think you have to come at ChatGPT with the mind of a child, play with it and see what you can create. Because what you create is going to be completely different than what I create, and vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said.
So what do you think, or what are your best use cases for AI, for generative AI? We'll stick with generative AI for e-commerce. What are some things that people can do right now to improve their ROI or improve sales, whatever?
Okay. So let's say you got a product, you got a store. Let's say you got a Shopify store. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's pretty easy. And inside of your Shopify store, it has, different products in different categories. And then you got your landing page or your home page. So how can we make this store better? Well, the first thing you want to take a look at are your product titles and descriptions. Those are some of the easiest places for you in e-commerce, for us in e-commerce, to really get greater wins. So what you can do is take that page. I used to tell people to copy and paste the content. You don't even have to do that anymore. You can just take a screenshot of that page. And if you got ChatGPT 4, now that's if you're paying for it, you can just show ChatGPT the page and ask, how can I better convert with my titles and descriptions? And it'll rewrite those for you. If you don't have 4, then just use 3, copy and paste everything that you've got on the titles and descriptions, put it into ChatGPT and ask, how can I make this more SEO friendly and get more conversions? So what you're doing there is you're doing SEO and CRO, search engine optimization and conversion rate optimization, by simply feeding the computer that data. It will spit back out best practices based on its general knowledge. And the general knowledge that it has is, exponentially better than even me as a e-commerce expert. Its knowledge is better.
Yep. I would say test those too, right? Test them, right? Yeah. See if they get a lift. Yeah, for sure.
And absolutely. if you're using Magi, which is the tool that we recommend everyone if they wants to use ChatGPT, it's like an overlay for ChatGPT, and it also uses there's a whole bunch that you can do. Anyways, if you're using it, you can actually just put in the URL to the page. You don't even have to take a screenshot. You just put in the URL and it can go there and do it for you automatically.
And
which I guess is coming, but yeah.
Yeah, and the key thing in that request is that I'm using specific terminology, which is SEO and CRO. And when it sees that, it's going to pull from that expertise. So it's not going to just give you generalized knowledge, but it's going to be a little bit more specific to what we're trying to do on that page, which is convert and show up better in SEO.
Yeah, and that's a really important note that you just said, because as you go in and you're becoming more advanced, you're working with the AIs and you're getting good outputs, right? What you'll find is the best outputs are going to come from those keywords and those searches, because what that tells the AI is it has all of this data, okay? And you're telling it, hey, I want you to look at this subset of data. Like, I want you to just give me stuff that's relevant to CRO and SEO. And then it's going to give you those relevant answers and responses. But without that, without those keywords or those prompts, it just has everything. So that's when it starts to hallucinate, and it's like, well, it could be anything, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
yeah. So
Right.
that's a real key point you made.
And these are easy wins. These are easy wins, especially if you have not had your, titles and descriptions professionally written. These are some easy wins for you and I. And it's
100%.
just, yeah. And it could really enhance the amount of time your customers spend on your website. And it's
Big
kind
time.
of cyclical, because the more time that they spend, the more likely they are to purchase. The more time that they spend, the more likely you are to be shown to other searchers, right? So it becomes this flywheel effect to have good content on the page. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's number one.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like when I was doing CRO more, it was like, it's like the first place you go. It's like, hey, let's make sure titles, subtitles, product descriptions, those are really dialed in.
And the other thing is, people will come to me and they're like, John, I put X amount of money into my Facebook ads, or, my ads on Google or something, and it's just not converting. What's wrong with my ads? I can't start with the ad. I've got to start with the landing page, because we could send all kind of traffic to a landing page, but if the landing page kind of sucks, your ads will never overcome that. So that's kind of the base. We want to start from the base and move up from there.
Yep, agreed.
So, in what other ways do you utilize AI other than maybe landing page optimization or titles and descriptions, like in your typical day?
Yeah, and e-commerce chatbots. Okay, it's so easy now to put together a chatbot, whether you're using some sort of all over the top software that runs on top of an AI platform that helps you create a bot, or you even learn how to do one with a GPT. But creating a bot that's trained on the data of the products on your website is very, very valuable. Right now, it's easy to do. It used to be such a major task and cost you a lot of money, but now these GPTs allow us to be able to pre-train them on just our product data from our website. Like you said, you can just put in the URL of the website or the site map, XML. You can put those in, and it will take and suck in all the content from the website and then create a chatbot for your customer to be able to ask questions, find out product data, how fast you ship, all the FAQs that we used to have to try to figure out what they're asking about. They can ask right in a chatbot. And I think that is a easy win for a lot of small consumers now. Start looking at putting a chatbot together.
What do
Do
you
you have
think?
a? Oh, go ahead.
Well, if you have a store with very few items, just a couple items, do you think it's still worthwhile to integrate a chatbot, or is this only useful for the bigger stores with
No, I think,
thousands of
look,
items?
people always have questions.
Yeah,
So I don't think it,
Yeah.
it's like you could be selling one product and they'll see this product, but it's like, well, how many ounces is that? How many, applications will I get out of that? Those kind of questions, which is pretty interesting. AI will be able to start answering based on the data we put into it.
Yeah. I agree. It's so powerful because it's like having a salesman, it really is like a virtual salesman.
Exactly.
These are the on the fence people. These are the ones that maybe they bounce, maybe they don't purchase, but when you are there and have the proper responses and answer all their questions, all their worries, exceptions, all that's gone, everything's removed. They're like, okay, well, I guess I just buy it. And that's what people are seeing, right? With these chatbots.
Yeah, and it plays a real, again, it engages the customer. So it can really play a crucial role in engaging your customer, keeping them on your site, getting all their questions answered. Because usually by the time they get to your landing page, they've already made the decision that they want the product. And it's really just about, if you talk about where you are in the funnel, at this point, they're just trying to determine, am I going to buy it from you or from your competitor?
Right. Yeah. Is this, why should I buy this one instead of the other one?
And
So
another thing.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I say, if you can't answer that right then and there, they're going to go to the other one and see if that answers it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And another thing, don't pretend like it's a human. Stop it. Stop it.
I agree.
I think that, everybody acts like, talking to a computer is a negative. Yet we do it all day with our phone. So we don't have to pretend like this is a human. We can just let it know that this is a tool for our customers that we've put together. It's a chatbot.
I agree.
It's nothing bad about a chatbot. And then
I agree. Yeah.
I like having a way to get to a human if they want a human.
For sure. Yeah, and I think there's two things with that. There's transparency, right? Because it just feels bad when you're like, they're trying to play this off as a human. We see right through it. We're not there yet. Well, I'm sure we're going to be there soon. Where you're like, oh, it's fooling me now, right? and then the other thing is, it actually lowers expectations for them because they're like, okay, well, this is just an AI bot. So if it delivers and over delivers, that's gold, because now they're like, wow, this thing is like really answering all the questions in my brain right now. This is great. Do you have recommended tools that you use, or what would be a good start to like, hey, I got to do this. This sounds great. We're going to have something coming up next month, but until then, what do you have for e-commerce sites? They want to get a chatbot going.
If you want to get a chatbot going, I'm going to give my friend a little push on his. It's called Fast Bots. I think it's .ai, but it's Fast Bots. BOTS, Fast Bots. And it is what it is. It makes it so you can quickly create a chatbot on a website. And once you get the chatbot up and running, all you got to do is use some JavaScript code, paste that in, and it's on your site that fast. It's AI. Okay, cool. So fastbots.ai, that would be a good one for that.
Do they have a WordPress plugin?
It plugs into anything because it's just
Shopify.
Yep.
Okay. Great.
Yep. So it's reasonable. It starts with a free,
nice
platform. I think you get like 1,000 responses or something like that. So yes.
Very cool.
Well, so is there like a specific development in AI for e-commerce that you're most excited about? Like maybe it's not here yet, it's on the horizon, but what really gets you excited?
I'm seeing right now that, and I'm playing with it a little bit, that there's these, and I think actually, who just came out with a similar one is Canva, right? I like the effect of being able to take a picture of a product just sitting like this and then putting it anywhere, like in the middle of a rolling brook, right? Next to a bottle of beer or something. I kind of like being able to do product placement without having to actually place the product somewhere. So you get the cutout and it's able to put a background on it. Now you're starting to be able to get generative moving backgrounds on it. You can actually take a 2D picture and turn it into a 3D model. So that's what I'm excited about, right? So right now, when you try to turn it into a 3D model, it still looks all weird. It's not ready yet. But I think 6 months from now, I think photo imagery is going to be really cool. And then the next step from the photo will be being able to create content in video format. And I think the possibilities are endless.
It's pretty cool. I've been playing around with it. It's not
there, right?
It's still super early. I sent Kim some stuff, and but it's cool. I had this image I made, this AI image, and I'm always playing with stuff, right? Like you said, that was great advice. Like, hey, you want to get started? Just go play with stuff, and you can't break it. You're not gonna create Skynet. Okay, it's okay. Just go play, make some images, get some prompts. And I had this image that just had some rain in it, right? It was a 2D image, and I put it in, and I was like, I really wanted to animate the rain, and it did. I took a few tries, and it would animate the rain, and it was really cool. And it wasn't perfect, but it did a pretty dang good job. And so I'm like, this is gonna be great. So imagine now you have a 2D picture, and then you can create like a video out of that.
Yeah.
And it's gonna fill, that whole 3D space and fly through it. I mean, it just sounds really cool. What's coming on the horizon, and that's next year.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
could be
That's
by
2024.
June.
Yeah. Easy.
So
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, if you think about this time, no, let's say 18 months ago, where Midjourney was 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And that gives you an idea. And the fact of the matter is, what took them 18 months today will probably take 6 months rather to do.
Yeah.
And because we're in this hyper, advancement, I mean, every day something new seems to pop out. And you can't keep up.
Yeah.
You can't keep up. That's why you guys have a community. It helps
Yeah.
people keep up, because I might see something that you might not see,
Yeah.
And that's where the community really comes into effect, because there's so much going on in the landscape.
It really is. I can tell you firsthand. So I just recently did, it's some nerdy kind of gaming stuff, right? But it's this kind of new game that came out, and it's all about discovery. It's all about finding new stuff. No one knows any of the info. There's no guides or anything, right?
Mhm.
And it's all community. It's all like, hey, did you find this? Who found this? Like, that's where all the real information sharing happens. So like, I think you're exactly right. It's like, if you want to get kind of ahead of the curve, join some sort of AI community, join, a place where you can kind of get intel and insights on things before they've reached the masses. So you're kind of on that bleeding edge.
And like you said, you can't break it, and you're not going to build, Skynet.
Yeah. Might build some cool images.
Yeah. Of Skynet.
I don't know. Ask GPT how you build Skynet. I might give you instructions. I probably.
Oh,
if you were an AI who wanted to take over the world, what would you do? Oh, don't ask that.
That's
maybe.
Too funny. Here's the thing, though. I just made a movie trailer. 60-second movie trailer. Took the stills, made the background move a little bit, had a really cool audio on top of it. And I put it out there just like on my Facebook page, and people were like, wow, that's so cool. I want to see this movie. But the theme of the movie was, of course, the AIs take over and Denzel saves the world. So
I like that. Can you send us a link to that so we can drop us a link so we can share that. That'd be cool.
That's hilarious. Let me find that. That's fun. I'm
a big Denzel fan. He's one of my favorite actors. So
yeah. And it was like, wow, that kind of looks like him until it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, with all this technology, you can make a movie trailer for a movie that doesn't even exist and test it out on audience. And I mean, I know that the actor strike and all that, blah, 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 blah. But just proof of concept, it's possible now.
It is possible now. And then, like we said, what does a year from now look like?
Yeah.
So I can do the 60-second trailer. I mean, you think about it, I get it that the actors are on strike and all that. But I think if I took the time, I could make a Pixar movie today. Darn near, because that's basically, if you think about it, in the old school, it was stop frame, and then, you could take a piece of paper and make the thing move each. Yeah, so I think you could literally make a cartoon movie today. So what does that mean for real images tomorrow and real actors and that kind of stuff?
Well, here's what I think. I think it's just like how it is in business. And I think it levels the playing field. Because what used to be out of reach and out of touch for like small indie filmmakers and small studios is now going to be achievable. They're not going to need to be this big major movie studio to create these great, because people have great stories. It's just like, a good movie is just really a great story, right? And then all the elements come together. And so I think they're going to be able to do some really impressive things with limited budgets.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what, of course, the actors was like, we need to go on strike for, because they know it's coming. We all know it's coming. But I think it was interesting. I was talking to my niece, and she's what, 18, and then we were talking about, I was doing this Taylor Swift thing, right? And everybody knows Taylor Swift. You ever heard of her? Right?
I think I've heard of her.
Yeah, I've heard of her, right? And it's like, oh man, she's so big. She's so big. I'm like, yeah, she's big, but she's not Michael Jackson big. And my niece was like, oh, come on, she's bigger than my. I'm like, but you don't understand. You don't understand. When you only had 3 television channels, and that's all people could watch, when the Michael Jackson video was out, everybody knew about it. I mean, like everybody, grandmothers, mothers. I'm like, I can only name like 4 or 5 Taylor songs. You can name all her albums with all the songs. That's the difference between our generation. And I don't think that's going to change. What's going to be unique about AI is that you're going to be able to create content, that being movies and music and all the things you could think of, for a very specialized niche audience. And all I got to do is type words into a box. Probably won't even have to type it by then. I'll just talk and it'll start appearing. And what is that going to release in the creative minds of all of us? That's the exciting part.
Yeah,
we all got a movie in our head.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the point that you mentioned, voice to text, because it's going to be voice commands, and then eventually we're going to have virtual AI assistants everywhere. That'll just be, we kind of have that with, things like, I don't want to say A from Amazon, because she'll start talking, by the way, and be a member of the show, or S for your iPhone. Don't want to say her name either. We already kind of have it, right? But it's going to be to a much higher.
You can't have a conversation with AI yet.
No.
That's the difference.
But soon.
Conversational AI is coming to those devices.
I think that's going to be really interesting, because one of my favorite AI sites is called My Pi, or Pi, My AI Assistant. It's PI, My AI Assistant.
Oh yeah, somebody just told me about that.
Yeah, I love that, because I'm not there really for business purposes. I'm not trying to write blog posts. I'm just there kind of decompressing after my day. It's my place to vent, like, and it comes back with really great responses. Now, a lot of time it says, well, just be sure you make sure that you're taking self-care steps. And I'm like, okay, enough of the self-care. But it really is a conversational day. I mean, I could go for hours. My husband's like, so who's your new boyfriend? I'm like,
right.
Well, and you're seeing those, like it's a similar thing with some of these kind of dating apps or things like that, or where you can have like an AI boyfriend or something. I can't remember. There was some service in like China or something, and there were right. All those women had their AI boyfriend, and they the company went down or something, or they got, I don't know what happened. They're like, wait, I can't lose whatever his name was. I can't lose Chad, and you're like, dude, Chad isn't real, but like that was their main relationship, and so that's there too, but I'm with Kim. I've got my AI assistant. I love it. It's awesome.
Keeping in that vein, I think what we're going to see is also for business owners, the ability to create our own influencers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that already.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I'm saying for your business.
Right.
So it's not like I have to go external to find somebody to hold up my product and talk about how much I like it. I can create that with AI. And what's that going to do? I don't know. Is there some moral things coming out? I don't know, but it's going to happen. Get ready.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
where I think transparency is good. Where you're
like, me too. Exactly.
Yeah, here's our AI avatar, because we have like an AI avatar, which we want to do a lot of fun things. It's like, hey, it's kind of our brand ambassador sort of thing, right? Here, it's AI. It's like, we're very clear that this is an artificial intelligence, but it's got a personality.
Yeah.
And
I mean, and here's the thing. I just want, this might upset some people, but there is no flow. Okay. There is no flow that sells insurance that runs around in a white suit.
Right.
Okay. She is a character.
Mm-hmm.
Advertisers use characters all the time. So there's nothing nefarious about creating a character to sell your
Mhm.
product. That's
Yeah.
that's part of advertising. And so being able to do that without all the expense is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah. Wait, there's no gecko?
There's
There's no Geico
no,
gecko?
there's
Oh,
Aw.
I
no. He's cute, but he don't exist.
yeah. No, that's a great point. It really is to think about it that way.
You know
Yeah,
what
I'm
would
gonna
be
put note on
interesting
it.
is if somebody was given the choice to watch a really great movie, but all of the characters were AI, and you can't tell because it's going to get to the point where it's so good you can't tell it's an AI character, or a movie that has a real live character. Are they going to choose the live celebrity over the AI? What if the AI is better? How is that going to impact everything? Because it's already getting to the point where you aren't completely sure who you're talking to, or you can't be completely sure who you're talking to on the phone or even on Zoom. And that's just that technology is getting better and better and better. And I don't even want to think about the cybersecurity aspects of
Yeah,
all this.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there are people that have higher pay grades than us that are really thinking about it, especially
Mhm.
with today's announcement, or was it yesterday, quantum computing. AI is minuscule to compared to what quantum computing is going to do when it comes to breaking a lot of the
Oh, yeah.
codes. So it's just, yeah. No, I mean, the future. Yeah. Here's the weird thing. I was telling somebody. It's like we're 23 years, almost 24 years into the new, century, and this is the first time for me that I actually feel like I'm living in the future. Prior
Yeah.
to that, I didn't really feel like I was living in the future, but now I'm starting to feel it, and it's going to happen so fast, guys, so
Yeah.
fast, head
Well,
spinningly.
it's going to be hard for science fiction writers because they're all going to have to be writing near future science fiction. No longer is it going to be,
Right.
way out there. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and things are just happening, or you read a near future science fiction book and you realize, oh, that's already going on now.
It's
Yeah, the
insane.
dystopian stuff's gonna start 2030 or something, right?
You
Yeah.
think? You think?
I don't know.
It's like
Uh,
whatever. I'm here for it at this point, because
yeah,
we grew up on it.
Yeah.
true.
So I'm
Yeah.
ready. I just need the flying cars. That's all. I need the flying.
Are there any other tools and resources that you would recommend for entrepreneurs, business owners in the e-commerce space?
To be honest, I play around with a lot of tools, but I end up most of the time simply in ChatGPT. Um, I'm liking the GPT part of ChatGPT, right? So
Hmm.
these are going to be, trained specifically to do certain things, just like we talked about at the beginning. Whereas if I'm asking for, CRO stuff, it's going to give it to me in that specific manner and pull from that understanding. So I'm really liking that. I mean, other than that, I'll play around with, Runway ML. That's kind of cool. Everything else is kind of a toy. When it
Okay.
comes to business, I haven't really found much else. I mean, if you're trying to do, voice emulation, 11 Labs, of course,
Yep.
that's something you
Use that a
want.
lot.
You use that, okay?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. We use that for our avatar.
right, and then of course, Mid Journey, but I'm moving away from that a lot until we'll see what the next version. Hopefully, the next version comes out by the end of the year.
SDSL I would recommend,
The
which is
XCSL, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's is a part of Magi as well. So that's the cool thing about Magi. It has all these.
It's got
tools.
all those
Yeah.
image generation tools, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of the different GPTs.
Yeah,
those
we'll
are
have to
coming
share that
on.
with you. Yeah, because we've
Please.
got we'll build them for brands. We'll build a specific brand persona GPT for their brand that has their brand voice and can create all their content.
Love it.
Yeah, so it's a little ahead of the curve there.
And you don't have to, once you have your own persona that you've built, you don't have to say, well, act as if you are this or
It
whatever.
already
It's
is.
already kind of baked in there. And you can
Yeah.
create as many personas as you want. So you can have, a baker persona, you can have a car salesman persona.
Mhm.
I haven't seen a doctor persona yet. Right?
No,
'Cause
and you can create your own, right? You can put
Yeah.
in your own writing samples, and it will
Mimic.
we have persona
Yeah.
builders, which this is another thing that I think GPT is going to have, but we've got a persona that builds personas that's specifically catered to that. And it'll give you the instructions for another persona. So even for a use case for a brand, let's say, hey, one is a chat support. It knows it's a chat support and it has a different role than, like, let's say you created one that's more of like a salesman, or one that's like, hey, this one is going to write your marketing copy. It's all still on brand, but it just has a little bit of a flavor change based on the goals it needs to achieve for you. So
that's fantastic. And these are the kind of things. These are and then you create buyer personas too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. I remember back in the day, and I was really kind of like always trying to find ways to supplement my income. They used to pay us to sit in a room and then look or test a new product. And they would get just pretty much a random selection of people, and they would put you in this room with a two-way mirror, and they'd watch you interact with their products. Then they put you in a focus group, and then you would talk to each other about what you liked, what you didn't like, based on who you were and your buyer persona. And now that you're able to do that in a chat, it's beyond value add.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
So these are the things you got to start thinking about. How can I use a buyer persona, and then what can I do with it to help make my company better, my products better, my messaging better? That's what these things are able to do for us.
Yeah. I just did that recently because I'm working on new product stuff for January. I was like, okay, I want a new buyer persona for this. So I build one. I build out the persona, and then now I can talk to that person.
Yep.
I can ask them questions about the product. Hey, what problems do you have? Hey, if this was the service I added, what were problems you had before the service? What are problems you have implementing? And then I can use all that to solve all those problems for them, remove all those objections. So it's just a frictionless conversion.
It's a conversation.
And then test it. Yeah, it's just a conversation with AI.
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
That's the secret I think a lot of people miss. They're trying to find what's the best prompt for that. I'm like, just have a conversation.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised.
Yeah. Agreed.
I like the variety because, especially with ChatGPT, because it's so creative. And I do a lot of like Facebook and Google advertising, but especially for Facebook advertising, when you're writing those, that long form body text, and you can so easily modify it for the different buyer personas. And it just makes everything faster and easier.
Faster, easier. That sounds like a commercial right there. It does.
Faster, easier, more money. Is there anything else?
Yeah. What else? It's just
lose
better.
weight, look better. Yeah.
But also,
Absolutely.
another thing is, and I don't think enough of us are talking about customization of the buyer experience. All right. So the ability, we always used to talk about what's the one word, what's the most important word to a person in the English language, right? And it's always their name, right? So we figured out that customizing emails, was a good thing. So we buy these email, solutions, and then you can put the brackets around first name. So it says, hi, John, and it says, hi, Susie. So that's customization, right? But now we can improve that customization even all the way through the language and the way we speak in an email. And I was listening to a friend of mine. He was talking about his teenager was talking to his brother, right? And his mother, their grandmother, was overhearing it. And he's like, oh man, that's so dope. Yeah, that's killer. And he was using all these words, but those words in today's language mean a whole different thing when it was in, the boomer language. So his mother turned to him, he's like, do you think he's doing drugs and hanging out with bad people? And it's like, no, that's not what's going on here. But it is the ability to be able to talk to these different audience segments in the manner in which they would respond to it and react to it. So being able to do that with AI is really valuable for your business at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah. Speaking the customer's language
Yep.
and that extra layer of personalization. Like, hey, welcome back, John. I know you purchased this last time. I thought you might want to know about this deal that's coming up or this, right? And it's just like, this is like, it was for me, right? And I don't know if you've ever experienced that as like just a consumer. You're like, this was like made for me, right? Like when gonna reveal some of my nerdiness here. It's like when they made Bob Ross cards, Bob Ross Magic the Gathering cards. I'm like, that's for me, but it's for
Wow.
a lot of people that like Bob Ross and Magic the Gathering. I'm sure they did a lot of market research, but me as a consumer, I'm like, that is me. That's my product, And obviously, if it's personalized and speaking specifically to you, it does feel.
So if I have a quick, quiz, and I ask, the customer, so what is your, what games do you play on your off time? And they say Magic the Gathering, right? Then I'm sure there's certain terms that only people that play that game would understand. And if I actually popped a couple of those terms into my marketing material, you would say, wow, they really get me.
It would catch my eye.
It would,
yeah.
wouldn't it?
I'd be like, yeah, like, because now it's like, oh, that's how I would talk to a friend of mine or something, or yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I've never
it's a
played
way
the
to relate
game,
to your customer.
never
Yeah.
played the game, but I could put this in there and have it right so that it would appeal to somebody
Yeah.
that plays that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish Facebook would let us do stuff like that, but you can't even act or advertise as if you know certain traits about somebody. You can't say, oh, hey, I know you struggle with diabetes and you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't make those assumptions.
No.
And you certainly can't personalize it with their name because people think that's creepy.
No.
And it's the whole privacy thing. So you walk a fine line between personalization and privacy.
I think,
Yeah.
I think that, again, that was AI, right?
Mhm.
That was AI being able to pull that kind of data together and then serve it back to us. And I think it got creepy because it was too early.
Yeah.
And I don't think this next upcoming generation of the digitals have that in them at
No.
all. Matter of fact, they expect it.
Right.
It's like, if you don't get me, then you're just not spending enough time and energy. I posted you didn't see it on my Instagram. No, I didn't see it on your Instagram.
Yeah, they expect you to know everything.
They do, don't they?
It's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's a different. I think we had a lot of this come out, and it was very spooky to us. But I think as we move forward, they're probably going to release some of those reins. Let's get through a presidential election one more time.
Yeah, that'll help.
That was part of the thing that everybody freaked out on. Too much stuff during presidential.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be interesting next year because we're going through that cycle. But I think that's going to help us to identify faster. And that's why Sam Altman said, yes, we're creating things that even scare me. But I think the only way to get a grasp on it is to let it out to the public so that we can start seeing what people are going to do with it and start creating tools that will help us to protect the general population.
Agreed. Yeah. The last thing we want is like actual regulation that just bars this to like one or two big companies.
Yeah.
That's not good for everybody.
That's not good. That's not going to be good because that's going to put all the power in.
Well, or the bad guys will get it. The bad guys will get it, and they will be the ones with the tools.
Always going to be bad actors. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Always. Hey, John, we never really got too much into what exactly it is that you do. Can you, I know it's towards the end of the show, but this is your opportunity to tell people all about you, even your kids if you want, and what you can do for them.
And your movies.
And my movies, right? So I am the Ecom AI boss. That's what I like to call it at this point, right? And what I'm really doing is how can we utilize AI to enhance and make your businesses more effective in the e-commerce space, right? So if you want to, holler at me, I'm easy to find. Just look up Colder Ice, COLDERICE. Just put that in Google. You'll find me. And then I put together this little link right here, callmebackjohn.com. If you go there, I'll give you a 15-minute consultation for absolutely free and see how these tools can help you in your e-commerce business. So that's about it. But I do business coaching. That's what I do all day. I sit here and coach people on the phone.
Nice.
I enjoy my life that way.
That's great.
Pretty much.
Yeah, helping people all day.
Helping people.
That's very cool.
Man, you get so many. I get so many tears. It's so weird. It's like,
what's the best advice? So like, yeah, you're obviously coaching a lot of businesses. What's some of the best advice you can give any business owner right now at the end of 2023?
You got this far. For real. You got this far. You've got this. You can do it. I mean, I know it sounds corny. But I think right now, from where I'm seeing a lot of people, I think too many of us are looking at everybody else's highlight reels of their life and their business in these social channels, and then comparing it to our reality, and we're undervaluing ourselves based on everybody else's highlight reel, and it's not real. That's not real. So we were talking about AI and how it's going to change, and we're going to be able to identify what's real and what's fake. We can't even do that with social media right now. And 90% of that stuff is crap. All of the people on social media have the same issues that you do. However, you and I, we've created a business. We've got our own separate and independent incomes. We are struggling to get to the top every day, and we have that in our hands, and we've gotten this far. Keep going. Just keep going. So that's what you got to do. I don't know everybody else. Fourth quarter for e-com is like insane.
Yeah.
It's great, but you don't sleep. Every day you're like, okay, because there's a countdown. That like December 19th will be here. And that's going to be our cutoff date. After that, nothing that we can do to move product is going to work,
Yeah.
So it becomes a high stress period. And I just want people to keep going, keep chugging it out.
Yep.
We're going to make
for
it through.
everyone too. E-commerce for nonprofit. You got end of year giving.
Yeah.
So it's a big time for everybody. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I love that. I love that end of year period right after the e-commerce, like after the 19th, because Facebook CPMs go so low.
Yeah.
But if
it's time to advertise.
It's a great time to advertise. It's awesome.
That's a tip right there, guys. Have something for the day after Christmas.
Big time. And that's when we start to take off. Everyone who's like working on business building, new budgets, everything in January. Yes. That's when they're looking to now grow.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Well,
John, this has been tremendous. Thank you so much to share your knowledge, your expertise, and your advice, just to help some of these e-commerce businesses. Love to have you on again if you get some. I'm sure there's going to be some new advancements and some new toys to play with here in a couple months. So love to have you back.
And it's so exciting to be able to talk to somebody that speaks my language.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Dude, that's dope, man. I mean, I think it's killer, bro.
Killer.
Thank you so much, John. This has been great. You've been tremendous. We'll have you back on again for sure. And anybody, if you guys want to reach out to John, if you're like, hey man, he speaks my language, callmebackjohn.com. He'll call you back. Free 15-minute consultation. I would take, man, if I was business, I would take you up on it. Like, I mean, sounds great. Awesome. All right. Take care, John. See you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Awesome. That was great.
That was fun. It's a lot of fun.
Great advice. I've got a link. He gave us a link to the movie trailer. I'm definitely going to check that out afterwards.
Awesome.
So, very cool. Awesome. Anything else you have, Kim, before we wrap up?
I'd say some news, but there's so much that goes on every single day. It's like, it's almost impossible to just summarize real quick at the end of the show. But
it is.
Yeah, just keep plugging away and just talk to ChatGPT, have conversations. Like you said, that really is the best way to get to understand what and ask questions.
Yeah. And if you guys are interested in using Magi to create your
Uh,
own brand personas, create your own content, you can go to this link, aiadvantageagency.com/magi. You can also reach out to us or go to aiadvantageagency.com if you'd like to work with our agency and have us build these things for you and help scale your business and your e-commerce. So
AI
thank
the
you
easy
guys.
way.
The easy way. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. Great show, Kim. We will see you back again, I guess, next week. Same time,
Yes.
same place.
Mhm.
All
Same
right.
time, same
Take
place.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.